Welcome back to the It's Bigger Than Me podcast. I'm your host, Molly Trotter Gomez. So excited for another amazing interview from one of these incredible authors for this best-selling book here, Restore My Soul, Stories of Redemption, Deliverance, and Hope. This was published through our Kingdom Alliance Publishing House. And this anthology is just so hope-filled. And so, Anna, I am so excited for you to be on the show to share a little bit more about your experience writing in this book, and just the incredible chapter and hope that you give the readers. And so we'll walk through that here in just a second. But before we do, tell the folks at home where you're from, a little bit about you before we dive into your chapter.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here too, Molly, to get this, to just talk about the book and what I wrote. So, to begin with, who am I and where I come from? And I am Icelandic, moved to Norway in 2011. And I've been through some hardships. I was raised in a non-Christian family, and then when I was like in college, in the end of college, I got saved. I got to know Jesus personally, and that just radically changed everything in my life. But then another story also began, and I met someone. We got married and started to work in the church. Um, so that is like the beginning of it all. And I often say that I want to work from the setbacks to the stepping stones because, things happen in our lives and but things can change. So that is like my chapter in the story and where I come from. So, coming from this little island of Iceland with crazy volcanoes and earthquakes and earthquakes. So, things can be shaky, but it's not the end, even though they shake.
I love that. Yes, we do know earthquakes quite well here in California. It's
Yes.
like, yes, well, the ground rumbles. We're like, okay, are you done? Thank you. Let's move on.
Yeah, right.
Anna, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So let's dig in a little bit without giving away all of it because we want them to go get the
Yes.
book. Tell us a little
Hmm.
bit about like why this story and what inspired this chapter in this anthology.
Yeah, I can do that because there is just something on the inside of me. When you have gone through hardships in life and then you overcome a few things, you just see the bigger picture. Um, and there is more. And then even though you feel that you're broken, so instead of just looking at all the cracks, but looking to the creator who has the ability to mend the cracks. So that is like what really spoke to me when I sat down and I asked God, what should I write about? Because I was like, I don't want to talk about these cracks anymore. I just want to talk about God and how good He is and what He's done for me. And of course, I talk about what He's done for me, but He was always taking me back to this place. And I was like, I wrestled a bit. I was like, do I have to? Can't I just talk about the good stuff? And He's like, yeah, but the good stuff, you show it even better when you talk about the cracks and how I've mended them. So that is like why I I wrote this chapter. It was a struggle.
I've heard that from every single author. It had its moments. It was a struggle. One even said that she like put it down for a week because she was really like, oh, I just can't. And so it kind of delayed a little bit. But I love what you just said. We of course we love to talk about how good God is, but how are people going to know his goodness if they
Yeah,
don't know the struggles that we've gone through and the redemption and the
right.
overcoming, which is also a choice, by the way, because we can sit
Yeah.
in the stuff and it's like,
Uh,
and a lot of world loves to sit in stuff and wallow in it. But
yeah.
why live this life? The precious years that we get, whatever we get, why live and just wallow instead of being able to have
Right.
just that worship for the creator? So
Yeah.
I love that you shared that. Now, is there anything about this book that or this chapter that you wrote that maybe surprised you that came out?
Yes, again, where God led me in writing it. Because I always, I'm a happy person, and I want to talk about the good things and share hope, and and then maybe that I had to go back and dig there in the cracks again, and I was like, but then as I went back, I discovered something that, now it's just a crack. It's not an open wound anymore. And that is a big difference because you said it's a choice. You can talk from all the hurt and how, oh, this happened to me, and everyone would have understood, when they've read my story, it was hard. And they could have like done like this. Yeah, poor you. You've had a rough life, and I understand you're going to be, feel a little bit sorry and cry every night. And, if that's your choice. But that wasn't my choice. My choice was to look at what God had done and how he can heal me and allow him to come in the mess, in the hurting and everything that I went through. Like when I thought I was totally alone and, nobody knew, then God was always coming and knocking on the door and saying, like, Anna, I'm here. I see you. I'm with you. I hear you. And I love you. And I'm going to love you through this as well. So that was like seeing so clearly that it isn't an open wound anymore. So it's different now to talk about it. It's okay now for me to go back and talk about the cracks, But now it's not open. It's not bleeding like it was before because my focus and God has like placed my focus from that to what he has done, to the resilience.
Gosh, it's so good. I love that. And there was a phrase that he gave to me a long time ago. It's speak from your scars, not your wounds. Like you said, when it's
Ah,
bleeding, you're like,
right.
yeah, I gotta kind of like tend to this right now because it's
Hmm.
tender, it's open, it's fresh. But the scar, which I actually you could see one since I have my hair pulled back, I have a big scar right where I normally part my hair. And I can talk about it because it's sealed up, right? But when it was
Right.
gushing, bleeding, I couldn't do it because
Mm-mm.
it first of all just was not happening. I had to get stitches.
Yeah,
So but it reminds you of what you went through. It reminds you that
right.
there, and so it's a little reminder of what you've been able to overcome. So I
It is.
love that you shared that because I think so many people just kind of leave these wounds open and
Yeah,
bleeding and hoping they
it
can
is.
get sympathy, but that doesn't do anything. Like it's
Mm.
we're made to do hard things. And I know your chapter really talks about that, but then again, like overcoming that. So, so good. Anything else you'd love to share about your chapter?
Yes, I would love to talk about how, like, this is about like mending the cracks. That is one thing. And then actually, like you said, because was this something else that like hit me while I was writing it? Another thing was also that, you reach also more people because, I think, we are limited because we're human and our mind is just like this. And we need God to remind us that he doesn't have limits. He has a plan and he has a good plan for us and he wants us to go in that plan. So when we go there, we think that we're going to reach this person. I wrote this chapter for this person. But then as I wrote and as I finished up writing the chapter, then I saw it, I had reached more people. More people can read my chapter and because some of them are in the hurting, others are walking the walk, and then there are some who have overcome and they have understood this resilience and about, had their moments of doubts and struggled a bit, both with God and maybe themselves, and asking all the why questions. Why did this happen to me? And that's a fair question, and it's a good question. And I just, I encourage everyone to ask that question because God gives answers.
He does. He does. And he won't give answers if we don't ask questions. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Sometimes we sit there because maybe it's not the answer you want to hear, but so good.
Mm.
So as we kind of close up here, is there any word of encouragement, whether it's through the story that you shared or the process of writing this book, any word of encouragement for the people listening to your part of the
Yeah.
story?
I also want to say and like honor the people I worked with, because, one thing is for me to sit down and want to write, but then when you don't like have um, done much writing like this before, that's so good that someone comes and helps you, guides you through the process because it's tough because you meet yourself, you see yourself in the mirror all the time. So it's good to have a good structure and you're just led by professional people who know they're doing when you feel like, oh, what am I doing now? Should this be in the chapter? Should this not be? And I want to go there, but so that's a good thing. And what that all taught me was like just surrender it, surrender it. So whatever you're doing, are you writing a book? Are you doing a podcast? Are you gonna talk? Are you gonna go on the streets and talk to people? What is it? No matter what it is, just surrender. Then seek the community. Seek someone who can either help you, go with you, and surround yourself with people that will support you as well as be in this place where you want to grow. You want to grow. You want to know more. You want to see more of this. not the limited plan that we think, but what God has for us.
I love that. Well, I love that you honored the team. The team is amazing. They're so
Yeah.
good at what they do. Oh my gosh. Being
Oof.
surrounded by the right people, it matters because there's so many people out there that can do a good job and maybe they have high praise,
Yeah.
but it may not be a good fit. So I'm so glad you found a fit here. Your story's incredible. Congratulations. So pick
Thank
up your copy today. This Amazon bestseller. It's amazing. Restore My Soul. And Anna, thank you so much for coming on today just to share more of your part of the story.
My honor.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. It means the world to me that you would lean in, listen in, and be able to hear the value that's being shared on this show. Don't forget, if you love this episode, rate the show, leave me a review, be sure to share it with a friend, and don't forget to tag me on social media. I will definitely be giving you a shout out. Also, come say hi, drop in the DMs. I would love to be able to hear what stood out to you the most on the episode and if there's any topics that you would like to hear on the show. We'll see you next time.